Hello Statesman Nation, I'm Wade Steinluggy and this is In the Locker Room presented by Malcolm Lumber. On this week's show, we'll recap last week's games, including a sweep by the basketball teams on Saturday, the baseball team remaining perfect in 2019, the track and field teams competing in the league championships, and also the softball team getting their season started. We'll also preview next week's games, highlighted by the wrestling team hosting the Heart of America Athletic Conference Championships. We also have a pair of special guests in the studio today with head wrestling coach Aaron Scott, as well as baseball player Seth Rice joining us. All of that and much more, you're in the locker room. Coming off arguably one of the biggest wins in program history, including the last few decades, the Statesman women's basketball team was hoping to not experience a hangover as Clark came to town on Monday for a rescheduled contest. Let's go to the highlights. William Penn won handily in Dubuque earlier this year, but since then, the Pride have picked up some big wins, including beating Mid-American Nazarene earlier. William Penn looking for the season sweep, and Jenna Santee getting things rolling here with a three ball in the corner pocket. And now Brenda Pennington pulling up for the jumper. And William Penn leading by 7 late in the second quarter. Now a drive by Kate Ilatello closing out a strong second quarter. William Penn up 9 at halftime. In the second half, Jenna Santee taking over late in the third quarter. Another three ball here. Now she takes to the drive late in the shot clock, and at the last second, heaving it over her shoulder. And early in the fourth quarter, finishing off a 7-0 run by Santee alone, William Penn pulling away from Clark, and in the end, your Statesmen pick up the victory 67-51 over the Pride. Santee leading William Penn with 16 points, also had 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Shemai Oliver with 15 points. Vashi Wabarocha held to just 12 points. But she wasn't needed as William Penn had a very balanced attack, 4 individuals, in double figures. The men also competing against Clark on Monday night. Unfortunately, this one did not turn out well for the Statesmen. Anytime you give up 100 points, probably not going to be a very good day, and William Penn falls to Clark 103-98. We did have 5 individuals in double figures, including Abrian Edwards with 20 points. Marlon Ascender with 14, and also Ahmad Pender had 15. The next night, William Penn went down to Missouri to take on Hannibal LaGrange in the final duel of the season. William Penn coming away victorious 29-24, defeating the Trojans, including 3 individuals receiving forfeits, and also Tyshawn Cannon winning by tech fall, and Johnny Hopper pinning his opponent as well. With a potential top 10 ranking on the line, William Penn was back in action in a basketball doubleheader on Saturday as Baker came to town. The women with the first game of the contest. Again, top 10 ranking on the line after William Penn has won several in a row, looking to finish off the season sweep. A very talented Baker squad. William Penn dominated the odd quarters. The first and third quarter was all Statesmen, including Kate Ilatello, doing a lot of work early on. You see her leaner and now a three-pointer here. The game ended up being tied after a very tough second quarter for William Penn, but your Statesmen taking the lead a little bit before that shot, and then a second chance bucket for Vashi Wabarocha. This time she gets her own rebound, gets a little bump there, puts it up. William Penn ends up running away with this one, taking the Baker Wildcats down 68-48. Wabarocha with a huge game of 28 and 8. Ilatello with 22 points and 8 rebounds as well. And Santee with a solid day of 7 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. William Penn men taking on Baker to finish off the doubleheader on Saturday. Desperate for a win, William Penn had defeated Baker by 19 in December. Your Statesmen strong early. Shamar Bailey Dicato had been out for a couple games with an infection in his arm, but picked up 1 3-pointer here. little heat check, and he knocks down another three, this one from the corner. William Penn up 11 early on in the second half. Adrian Edwards decides to take over, gets a three ball, and one more for the wing, from the wing, excuse me. And that one held off a strong push by Baker late in the game. Your Statesmen coming away victorious 87-81. They had lost 5 of 7 coming into the game, but a solid performance from your Statesmen. Edwards with a triple-double, his second of the year, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Sherman with 21 points and 7 rebounds, and Daly also had 17 points, 7 rebounds as well. The Statesmen softball team, as we mentioned, started the 2019 season last week. They had a rough 2018 year, but looking for redemption beginning the year down in Texas. And it was a solid opener for the Statesmen, picking off a very solid Central Baptist team, excuse me. Emily Brown going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Sonia Reddy was also 2 for 3. She had a triple and an RBI. And Katie Springer picked up the win, going 5 innings, and she had 1 strikeout. Unfortunately, the nightcap on Friday down in Fort Worth was not so good, taking on number 1 Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma City just torched William Penn to the tune of 18-1 in 5 innings. Amy Russell worked 3 innings, and Kaya Harper had the lone actual base hit for William Penn. It was a double. The baseball team was 4-0 last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me, taking on Randall. They went back down to Oklahoma and took on Bacone, picking off Bacone 7-0 and 10-3 to remain perfect on the season. First 6-0 start ever for William Penn in NAIA. Since moving over to NAIA, Blaze Spees 3 for 3 with a double in the first game. Nate Ball was 2 for 3 with a double. Chase Stratton, huge game in his William Penn debut, 6 innings worked, and he had 12 strikeouts. Second game, Ball was also, again, 2 for 3 with a double. Jarrett Hunt was 2 for 3 with a double, and Lionel Colon worked 4 innings, had 7 strikeouts for the victory. The women's and men's track and field teams went over to Crete, Nebraska for the Hart Indoor Championships. And both teams, even though the scores didn't show it, the women were 9th and the men were 7th, but both teams had a lot of good individual performances, including Shelby Williams winning the shot put, tying the school record at 42-6. Kayla Music had a huge couple days as well. She finished second in the 200, 25.95, breaking the school record in that event, and also broke the school record in the 60 at 7.92. Elena Van Arsdale finished 5th in the weight throw at 48 even. On the men's side, no individual champions for the Statesmen, but a couple second places by Sage Arisman in the shot put, as well as Finn Alade in the high jump. Also, Chris Leva did very well, getting 4th place in both of the sprints in the 60 and the 200. Joel Brown was also in the top 10 twice as well. Also capping off the rest of last week, a couple individuals went over to Central to compete at the Central Last Chance Invitational. Nadello Charles Pierre picked up a couple of wins, including a tech fall. He finished 3rd overall. Dylan Comstock was also in the lineup. Both individuals should be competing at the Hart Championships that we'll talk about later on in the show. When we return, we will be talking to head wrestling coach Aaron Scott, and we'll be back in a minute. You're in the locker room.
William Penn University provided the opportunities for me to widen my potential after graduation. I loved being involved with the women's golf team and was able to focus my last few years on internships at the YMCA. With all the opportunities at Penn, I hope to one day be working in a stadium for a pro team or doing the business side of sports, which I love. The opportunities are real, your potential is unlimited. Discover your place at William Penn University.
You built a castle so that the prince and princess can live happily ever after. You brought the sunshine to shine upon the whole family's future. But when the sun hides behind the clouds, State Farm can help. We put the life back in life insurance to protect your family's finances, not only in the future, but today.
Call your State Farm agent Kelly Style in Oskaloosa today.
What if there was a program
where I could express my individuality, create my visions. Get the hands-on learning that I need.
A program where I could become something greater.
Become something bigger.
Hello everyone, this is Tyler Van Welden from Malcolm Lumber in Grinnell, Montezuma, and Oskaloosa. Malcolm Lumber is your DIY headquarters and we would love to help you with any projects you want to tackle. Bring us your plans, let our staff help you. We will get you the right materials, the correct tools, and the support you need to make that project come out perfect. And now we have a full-time designer for that new kitchen and bath. Stop in and say hello at any of our 3 store locations or call to make an appointment.
Welcome back, Statesman Nation. We are here now with head wrestling coach Aaron Scott. Big week for the Statesmen as they're looking to qualify some individuals for the NAI National Championships this week. All of the Heart of America Athletic Conference teams, as well as 2 others, will be joining us here in Oskaloosa for the Heart Championship. So, Coach, appreciate you coming in for a few minutes here. I know you're busy schedule, especially this week, getting ready for the Heart Championships. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about just your first season. I mean, you're a little over, I guess, 14 months into the job, so to speak. Just talk about just how it's been going, the transition from assistant coach up to head coach.
Yeah, I would say that so far this year, we are very pleased with the progress that we've made. And I think it's shown in the performance of the guys and just a night and day difference from where we were a year ago to where we are now. The guys are just performing at such a higher level than they were a year ago. We focused a lot on the mental side and kind of the heart. You know, we had always had done a pretty good job physically, training-wise. We also took that up another notch this year. We increased the intensity and the level, tried to just train at a higher level to where we don't mentally break and where we don't get tired in matches. But probably the biggest changes is in our mind, and just really simplifying the sport to enable our guys to go out there and compete, take that stress away, and just really allow them to have fun and perform their best.
Definitely. You've always talked about how, you know, it's more than just wrestling, and every coach, you know, wants to, they in the recruiting spiel, they're always saying, you know, we want to make you a better individual, but I think you really take that especially to heart, that you want to make you a better man, even if your record is not, you know, you're not a national champion at the end, you know, that you're going to have a successful 4-year career here, and you're going to build as a person. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's something that's very important to us, the program and the coaching staff. Is, you know, we know that better individuals are going to create a better team, and that's something that we've focused on. And you know, we think our mindset is that we'll be doing our athletes a disservice if we don't help prepare them for the rest of their lives. And you know, just some of the things that we're doing with just focusing on character, integrity, and bringing in, you know, we brought in Michael Fessler, an author of Faith in Wrestling, and kind of helping those guys realize what we're wrestling for. We also scheduled some mindset training, focusing on 4 principles. And the number 1 principle is, you know, we're grateful for the opportunity to wrestle, and helping these guys realize that this really is an opportunity. It's a, you know, just something fun that we get to do. We get to go out there and showcase, you know, the talents and gifts that God has given us, and you know, we want to wrestle for Him, and you know, academics is most important. This is kind of what we get to do on the side for fun.
Yeah, I think we got some snow on the roof up there. I can hear.
Yep.
Let's talk about a few of these individuals that are on the team. Austin Goen, we had on the show a couple weeks ago, has really improved throughout his career, and is one of those individuals that come Saturday hopefully will you know, reach one of his goals and be a national qualifier. Darquel Pierre is also there. Johnny Hopper, Sheldon Rodriguez. Those are probably the main 4 guys that have a really, really good shot. Let's talk about each one of those guys a little bit individually.
Yeah, so we'll just start at the lightest guy. You know, Darquel Pierre at 133. He's probably wrestling the best right now. He's really hit his stride. I think his confidence there. his style. He's figuring it out. You know, new conference rankings just came out. He's ranked 4th in the conference right now. Good chance he could be ranked in the top 20. He had beat the 20th ranked guy at the Missouri Valley Invite a few weeks ago. Some really close matches with some other guys in the top 20. I think he has a really good chance if he goes out there and just competes the way that he can. You know, I'm pretty confident that he can make it to nationals. Moving on to 165, Johnny Hopper. Man, Johnny's had quite the transformation from a year ago to where we are today. He tore his ACL, you know, battled through that. You know, that's tough. You know, had surgery in March and didn't really get to do a lot of training. Well, really no training for 6 months, and it wasn't until, you know, October before we were really hitting our stride. So he had a lot of ground to make up, and you know, just the progress that he's made, the transformation, and just where he's at mentally, you know. And he's had some close matches when we dueled Graceland. He had a tough, close match with their 65-pounder. We had an exhibition match. He was, you know, sick, and went out there and almost beat the guy. That guy's ranked number 9 in the country right now, or previous rankings, and you know, he's rattled off some good wins here lately. But you know, I think that's someone that Johnny can beat and potentially get us into the nationals there. Austin Goen, doing great, coming off redshirting. He's really hitting his stride too. He's getting his offense going. As long as we don't, you know, we want to make sure that we're controlling the ties. A lot of times guys will tie him up and kind of slow him down a little bit, but if he can keep those ties free, control his control ties, and get his offense going, he's going to be able to go out there and do what he needs to do. You know, really close match with national champion from Grandview when we dueled them, closest match of the night. So I think his confidence is where he needs to be, and I think he also has a pretty good opportunity to qualify for nationals.
Right, and just talk about Sheldon real quick, and then we'll.
Yeah, Sheldon, he's you know, another guy that's right there, and we just got to get. He gets so excited sometimes before matches. We usually have to calm him down, and he's aggressive, and that's something that we really want our guys to do, is be aggressive. And a phrase that we're constantly talking with Sheldon is controlled aggression. Sometimes he gets out there, gets a little out of control. He's excited. We want to see that. If he can control that aggression and just stay confident in some of those positions he gets in, you know, he's going to be able to, I think, have a good chance at qualifying and just stick to his offense. You know, he's got some good shots. If he can hit those shots, again, control those ties, you know, he's going to perform well. Yeah.
Well, again, you guys are hosting. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Heart Championships, but you guys are hosting on Saturday. Hopefully get some home cooking, you know, get a lot of fans there and cheering them on, and get that one extra win that they need, get themselves qualified. So best of luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. Once again, head wrestling coach Aaron Scott on Saturday. His team will be competing in the Heart Championships in the Penn Activity Center here in Oskaloosa, so hopefully you can come out and see him. When we return, we will have senior baseball player Seth Rice back. You're in the locker room.
William Penn University provided the opportunities for me to widen my potential after graduation. I love being involved with the women's golf team and was able to focus my last few years on internships at the YMCA. With all the opportunities at Penn, I hope to one day be working in a stadium for a pro team or doing the business side of sports, which I love. The opportunities are real, your potential is unlimited. Discover your place at William Penn University.
You built a castle so that the prince and princess can live happily ever after. You brought the sunshine to shine upon the whole family's future. But when the sun hides behind the clouds, State Farm can help. We put the life back in life insurance to protect your family's finances, not only in the future, but today.
Call your State Farm agent Kelly Style in Oskaloosa today.
What if there was a program
where I could express my individuality,
Create my visions. Get the hands-on learning that I need.
A program where I can become something greater.
Become something bigger.
Hello everyone, this is Tyler Van Welden from Malcolm Lumber in Grinnell, Montezuma, and Oskaloosa. Malcolm Lumber is your DIY headquarters, and we would love to help you with any projects you want to tackle. Bring us your plans, let our staff help you. We will get you the right materials, the correct tools, and the support you need to make that project come out perfect. And now we have a full-time designer for that new kitchen and bath. Stop in and say hello at any of our 3 store locations or call to make an appointment.
Welcome back, Statesman Nation. We are joined by senior baseball player Seth Rice. He is out of Meridian, Idaho, looking for a big senior year out of Seth. So we'll get right into talking to him. Seth, appreciate you coming in for a little while. 2018 was a tough year, to say the least. I know you guys had higher expectations and things didn't come to fruition, but this year already 6 wins under your belt. I know the competition isn't the top team in the nation, but getting those early wins with such a new team, you guys have to be excited about the start.
Oh yes, of course. Last year was tough. This year is going to be different, and I want it to be different. We have to win. We're started off really well, 6-0. Teams we played so far. I mean, well, getting the team together, we're starting to gel really well, and you can see that with the score so far. And last year, like I said, was tough. We actually wanted to do a lot better, but we just couldn't get together.
Right. Yeah.
And there was some problems with just consistent hitting, situational hitting, and yeah.
Yeah. But then, you start this year already doing the quick math, you're at like 86 runs or whatever so far on this year. And I know that's an anomaly. You're not expecting to, average 10, 12, 14 runs a game. But, all the pieces are fitting together. The pitching's been doing really well, et cetera. And now you're just hoping Mother Nature will cooperate and let you actually play some games. So talk about this year's team and how it just seems like everybody's just kind of bought in, got the right dudes, as coach likes to say and stuff, and guys just are buying into the program and really selling out.
Yeah, I think the guys that coach brought in are going to be players that are going to help us win a lot more games than last year. We have, honestly, our whole team is different. We don't have that many returners.
Talk about yourself in that role of being one of those few returners and how, maybe that magnifies your role a little more in prepping everybody else for, they're all baseball players, but they haven't played at this level. Maybe they're coming from a junior college or whatever, and some of them come from a higher level too, but right. Just your role in being one of those few guys that knows the system and knows what, coach is looking for and such.
It's like guiding some of the guys towards like the direction that Coach Laird wants us to go. And I'm on track with Laird. Coach Laird is going to get us to where we need to be, and we just got to take one game at a time.
Definitely. With regards to, you guys are going to play a lot of tough games, but what are the expectations for this year's team? Again, last year didn't reach it, but what's realistic for this year's team, and what have you guys set as some goals?
Some goals that we set are we got to get into the tournament.
Right.
Like I said, we got to take one game at a time, and then as we get into conference play, we got to play well in conference in order to get to the tournament. And the most important thing, I think, is we got to play our best baseball at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. What's that going to take? Again, it's so early to say what some of the keys are going to be, but you guys are hitting the ball well. Everything's working well right now. You haven't hit that adversity yet. But real quick, what are some things you guys are working on?
Going back to last year, and what's different from this year now is that we're bigger and stronger, faster, and that's going to help us a lot more win games. And we got to get to the tournament. Keep on saying that. That's the big picture here.
Yeah, definitely. When you get to the tournament and then you just figure it out and play, like you said, play your best ball when it comes to May. So best of luck, Seth. Appreciate you so much for coming in for a little bit. And again, hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate and you guys can get a whole bunch of games in early. So once again, Seth Rice, senior baseball player from Meridian, Idaho. When we return, we will preview this week's upcoming games, as well as obviously talk about the Hart Championship that will be hosted here on this coming Saturday. You're in the locker room.
William Penn University provided the opportunities for me to widen my potential after graduation. I loved being involved with the women's golf team and was able to focus my last few years on internships at the YMCA. With all the opportunities at Penn, I hope to one day be working in a stadium for a pro team or doing the business side of sports, which I love. The opportunities are real, your potential is unlimited. Discover your place at William Penn University.
You built a castle so that the prince and princess can live happily ever after. You brought the sunshine to shine upon the whole family's future. But when the sun hides behind the clouds, State Farm can help. We put the life back in life insurance to protect your family's finances, not only in the future, but today.
Call your State Farm agent Kelly Style in Oskaloosa today.
What if there was a program
where I could express my individuality,
Create my visions. Get the hands-on learning that I need.
a program where I could become something greater?
become something bigger?
Hello everyone, this is Tyler Van Welden from Malcolm Lumber in Grinnell, Montezuma, and Oskaloosa. Malcolm Lumber is your DIY headquarters and we would love to help you with any projects you want to tackle. Bring us your plans, let our staff help you. We will get you the right materials, the correct tools, and the support you need to make that project come out perfect. And now we have a full-time designer for that new kitchen and bath. Stop in and say hello at any of our 3 store locations or call to make an appointment.
Welcome back, Statesman Nation. Busy full week of action for the Statesman. We'll get right to it, look at some of the graphics here. Women's and men's basketball teams will be on the road twice this week, beginning on Wednesday, going to Central Methodist, a big double header for the men and women. Central Methodist, a solid team on both sides. William Penn looking to stay hot on the women's side, men looking for some big wins as well. Then on Saturday, the team will go over to Lamoni to take on Graceland in a double header. Both teams were successful. The women won by 20 last month. And also the men picked off Graceland, the Yellow Jackets, by 9 last month as well. So looking for a big week here from both basketball teams. Also in action, we talked about it several times, but the Hart Championships will be hosted by the wrestling team on Saturday in the PAC. So hopefully a lot of individuals can come out and cheer on the Statesmen to qualifying to finish somewhere in the top 4 is basically what they need to qualify. Also in action, depending on how Mother Nature wants to treat us this week, the baseball team will be going down to Kansas to take on Mount Marty in a triple header on Thursday, and then also there's a possibility that the team could be playing in Missouri on Sunday, so we'll just wait and see again how the weather cooperates there. The bowling teams will be going to Indianapolis to compete in the Hoosier Classic. The men are the returning champions in basically the biggest regular season tournament of the year, so hope to see some big results out of the teams there. And then finally, the track and field teams will be in Missouri to compete at the Mizzou Collegiate Challenge. This will be the final chance for the indoor track and field individuals to qualify for nationals, so we'll see how they turn out as well. We'll have recaps of all of those matchups, as well as new interviews with our coaches and student athletes here at William Penn. Thank you again for joining us, Statesman Nation, and until next week, go Statesman.